Months ago, the actress Alyssa Milano was on the steps of the Georgia Capitol leading a group of film industry workers protesting the heartbeat abortion bill. Milano was joined by dozens of women and men who work in Georgia's film industry. The heartbeat bill passed the Georgia House of Representatives Friday, and now it heads to Governor Kemp's desk for approval. The measure prohibits abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected. Now, that's typically about 6 weeks into pregnancy. The governor is expected to sign the bill into law.
As a taxpayer, as a homeowner, as somebody who rents a building from a landlord, you know, the ramifications of losing Hollywood is not just about celebrity. It's not just about, you know, people telling Georgia what to do. It's about very real lives and taxpayers who live here and have lived here for some of them are their whole lives.
As you saw, Alyssa Milano was right over her shoulder, and there she is there to the left. She claims that other states have offered similar film tax incentives, and the film industry may take their business elsewhere. A prop maker says her business would be devastated if filmmakers leave.